Oh, yes. I was just looking at that executive order number 11053. Yes. Assistance for removal unlawful obstruction of justice in the state of Mississippi. Oh, September 30th of 1962. Yes. Or is it 1862? No, 1962. Authorize the Secretary of Defense to call into the active military service of the United States units of the Army National Guard and of the Air National Guard of the state of Mississippi for an indefinite period and until relieved by appropriate orders in order to enforce all orders of the United States District Court. Oh, for the Southern District of Mississippi and the United States Court of Appeals, for the Fifth Circuit, for the removal of obstructions of justice in the state of Mississippi, authorize the Secretary of Defense to also use the armed forces of the United States to enforce court orders and authorize the Secretary of Defense to delegate the authority to the Secretary of the Army and the Secretary of the Air Force. Got a lot of secretaries in the Department of Defense. Yes. What are they doing today? No. It looks like we're going to need an executive order now. Now, let's say you're the Secretary of the Department of Defense. Yes, I've known a few of them. And you get an order from the president that they have to squelch this whole insurrection against the enforcement of the requirements of the law. We just can't have police officers and sheriffs rendering criminal assistance to those that commit the crime of fraud. Yeah. And I'm going to ask, when it happens, I'm going to say, well, did Donald Trump issue a fucking executive order? Because if he didn't, I'm going to have you put in prison. Do you understand, President? Now, your secretaries have been fucking up the world, haven't they? So maybe somebody wants to call the Secretary of the Department of Defense because it could be the Secretary of the Navy would like to know. Secretary of the Army? Oh my gosh. The Secretary of the Air Force? Ooh. Then there's the Marines don't have a secretary? No. They're part of the Navy. You know, I heard that they were like the amphibious unit of the Navy during wartime. Now, when you issue an executive order, yes, to suppress an insurrection, yes, a conspiracy, pooch, a sedition, is that a declaration of war in the event that the state refused to enforce the laws? Pooh! Now the next step is war, isn't it? Now who is it in the Army that like to have a little war today? Because as that American citizen that's looking at spending some money on passing some new legislation in each state of the United States, I thought I'd look at exactly how do you remove laws too, pooch, since we're looking at them. Now, a little war wouldn't hurt the United States, would it? A civil war? Pooh! Now, I know these sheriffs, they thought, well, we just can't arrest him. We can't arrest him for fraud. No, they're in the family. We can't give him his sons because the truth of the matter is, we have all agreed that we would not enforce the rights of the respondent, due process laws. And if there was an executive order issued against the state of Washington, and the Secretary of the Department of Defense got that order, we're just not going to deploy the troops. We're just going to have this insurrection. Well, the next step is war. Now, who is it in the White House that wants to make war against me? Because as I see it, I have the laws that are not secure on my side. I have the documentation of the crime. I have the Constitution of this nation, some international treaties. It would look real bad to other nations. All those tariffs. Oh, wait. Now, did somebody... Well, I will absolutely, completely fuck up the White House, you stupid assholes.